Hello everyone, this is Dr. Babo coming to you from Cerritos, California. Today I'm gonna do a thing called Bob Talk, and I'm gonna talk about the evangelicals in America from Christianity Today magazine perspective. Holy Spirit God, give us wisdom and insight that we may become effective ministers of God for your kingdom in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, ever since I became a Christian, especially in ministry, I subscribe to Christianity Today. As you know, that Christianity Today is a magazine founded by Billy Graham himself. Billy Graham founded this magazine. Guess what? You know what year? 1956. Wow, crazy. So this magazine is 64 years old, and they did a special edition in April 2018, 2 years ago, when Billy Graham passed away. So this is very memorable magazine. But I've been reading this, especially when I planted my church 30 years ago, 91. And then after a while, I discontinued the subscription. And one of the major reason is because the paper printing was going out of fashion and it was all turning electronic anyways. But also because I'm reading, and trying to see if I could learn something from the magazine that I could apply in my own ministry. At the time, I was doing Asian American ministry called Oikos, and over and over and over again, issue after issue after issue, this disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, because they just don't talk about Asian ministry, or stuff that they talk about is just not pertinent to what I do. So I canceled the subscription, and then by then I was away traveling, and then about 3 years ago I restart subscription, because once you do paper subscription, then they give you the electronic subscription and they send you through email. I thought, well, that would be nice to be informed about what average evangelicals in America is thinking, processing, arguing, debating, what concerns them. What do they really are concerned about? It's the level of their spirituality. So I did that. And so, well, I got this wonderful issue that really talk about Billy Graham. And this morning, just this morning, because yesterday I received 2021 books of the 2021, the books that we're gonna love, and the books that receive awards in Christianity Today perspective. And so when I say Christianity perspective, I'm talking about evangelical Christianity in America. Evangelicals, not the main, not the old traditional church, but evangelical, which is the majority of Christians in America today. Okay, so sort of like Billy Graham crowd. Okay, and as I was flipping through this magazine, I asked the following question. I remember why I stopped reading Christianity Today years ago. And I thought, out of this entire magazine, I would like to see if there is a Asian face, or article about Asians, or article about Asian Americans. And so I am flipping through entire magazine, and I just found two faces, and I blocked it in white. Okay, so entire magazine has literally close to 1,000 faces, probably. All these small faces and articles and even cartoon characters, and my goodness. And out of this Christian Dallas Theological Seminary advertisement, you find two faces look like a foreign students. Because we could kind of tell, when you look at someone, especially Asian face, We could even tell if it is Chinese descendant, Japanese descendant, Korean descendant, or they're foreign students, just the way they look. That's interesting. So January 2021, I mean, it's not even, this is December as I make this. Even in the future, 2021, after 64 years of making, wow, nothing really changed. And so I just gather all the CT, Christianity Today magazine, and I start going backward. So this is May 2020. So I'm looking at May 2020, middle of pandemic, and this article after article, face after face. Wow, all these white faces, white faces, white faces, white faces, white faces. Bam, there was one Chinese face. Or I don't know if it's Chinese or Korean, but I think I'm sure he's Chinese. It's Chinese. And the only reason he's there because he's a successful Christian businessman doing something, and he was part of the C12, the CEO, Christian CEO group, and then he was part of the 5. Of the 5, he was one. Wow. That's really interesting because we always talk about in Korean community, we always talk about, if all the Koreans leave all the seminaries in America, 60% of American seminary will shut down. Wow. We're kind of proud of that when we share that because so many Koreans are in American seminary and pay tuition, the foreign student tuition. And 60% of American seminaries are afloat right now because of that. But when it really comes to talk about Christianity in America, zero representation. Zero. So September 2019, none. I couldn't find anything. July, August 2019, zero. May 2019, okay, promising. I found 3. Bam! It's another Young Life, some kind of organization, and she looks kind of like Vietnamese or Malaysian look. So it's the advertisement again. It's not really about them, but it's just they are in the advertisement. Wow! She definitely looks Korean, and U.S. Air Force Chaplain Corps. And if you know her, let me know, because she looks very Korean to me. But the U.S. Army, Air Force advertisement, they want Asian chaplains. And DTS, Distance Education, or CIU, Columbia International University. And there is that Asian girl, right? And so it's really not about Asian spirituality, Asian churches in America. It's like, well, you come to our academic institution and pay a lot of tuition. I mean, I don't want to be cynical, overly cynical, but I'll explain to you why this is so important, and how we really need to change our thinking about even publishing a magazine like this and bearing the name Christianity. May 2019, wow, she makes the table of content. Wow, who is this Asian lady? Why is she so famous? Maybe they're interested in her testimony because it was in the testimony section. I go, wow, maybe I really need to look it up. Wow, I did. So excited. Well, she's famous because she was pictured naked when she was a young girl, when Vietnam fell. This is that world famous picture that kind of captures the falling of Vietnam. Remember that picture? And now she's a Christian lady giving testimony. Thank God for those bombs. Wow. It almost sounds patronizing. From my perspective, like, guys, that's all we are. Naked girl in Vietnam War. That's all you could say about Asian spirituality and Christianity today. And of course, Trinity wants you, Asians. It looks a little Chinese, but yeah, we want you. Come to our institution, pay the tuition. And of course, another seminary education advertisement. Okay. Now, I would not have never guessed until I really actually sat down and did this in one sitting. I mean, that's the power of research, I guess. And I'm sure the Christianity editorial team is not even aware that they're doing that, because they're just doing it, what they do normally. December 2017, now it's getting further and further. Wow, we made it to this Asian girl made it to the back of the front page. Guess what the advertisement is? Student loan. You could get a student loan when you learn at our education system. Or some Asian woman doctor advertising for some medishare.org. And first legit Korean who made two, well, this is also advertisement, but Billy Kim. This magazine is represented by Billy Graham. Our Billy Kim, who actually translated for Billy Graham in 70s when Billy Graham came to Korea, and that's why I got the name Billy. It's the North American Convention for, what is it called? Proclaiming National Religious Broadcaster 75th Anniversary Convention. Billy Kim is the head of the East Broadcasting Company, Far East so he makes it. Only one so far. How many years now? 2000, wow. 21, 5 years. Well, and then January 2018, I saved this for the last because it's a lot of example. Yep, it's another Billy Kim. So must be an annual conference that he's part of, that, along with Luis Palau, Rick Warren, rubbing shoulders with these Christians in America. And then World Vision, another advertisement section. The definitely Chinese lady who's donating money to World Vision. So Global 6K, get your family, get it going. And then when you walk like that, and then you support put a smile on some African somewhere, and World Vision, gladly you stand. Now, there was the word Korean was mentioned, first time in all these years of searching. A Covenant Theological Seminary that talks about, there's a Korean section. Fuller had a huge Korean department, but it's actually Fuller Theological Seminary itself is combining School of Theology and School of Missiology together. They're downsizing. I mean, they said, because to meet the need of the 21st century, blah blah blah. But let me tell you, in America, we'll never downsize because we got money. The whole capitalistic model is expand. Without expansion, you die. So anytime you're downsizing anything, it means that you ran out of money. That's what it means. So Fuller's downsizing by combining School of Theology and School of Missiology. And so they're releasing, of course, professors got to go because they're the expense, column. And it's so sad, for me to think that there was a reason why Fuller started missiology department, because theology and missiology is not one, and it's the same reason they have psychology department, and yet now they are combining. as one. Really breaks my heart. So far, so good. And there was another seminary grad school special advertisement. I think he could be Chinese or Korean, but it was one of the advertisement they had. Another advertisement, Talbot. I think she could be Korean. Talbot ran an advertisement on her saying that, well, come and be educated at Talbot. And then finally, the final page of Christianity Today, January 2018. Interesting. That North Park University graduation. So when I saw that, I thought, North Park University? What is the demographic of North Park University? What's the ethnic breakdown of that school? So I looked it up in the internet. Guess what? North Park University, both undergrad and grad school, has 45% white, 22% Hispanic, almost 9% black, almost 9% Asian, and yet their official school advertisement is 100% white. What do you think that is? I know they are not some evil people gathering together and just scheming this thing. No, it does not work that way. It's just that people acting normal life because we're all sinners out of our sinful nature. And if you probably do that in, let's say, Korean Christian magazine, you'll be saying about 10% of Korean population is now non-Korean. And yet, they will not get 10% representation. Even in America. Well, according to CIA report, and the best report is CIA, U.S. population estimate is by July 2020, 332 million. Some people say 360 million, but official CIA report is 332 million, 72% white, 12% black, 4% Asian. And I don't know where they took the Hispanics, because Hispanics represent 60 million. So 60 million of 330 should be quite lump sum. But in any case, why is it that such percentage of population is not represented in so-called Christian magazine? I mean, the secular magazine, Time magazine, right? This is May 2017. Of course, there's nothing on Asian other than, there was one article on Asian on North Korean dictator, right? It's just on the passing timeline, right? Kim Il-sung and his son, and just on the passing. There's not even the major article. And then what really gets to me is growing up in public. So they did the whole thing on growing up in public in America. There's no black, no Hispanic, no Asian. It's 100% white. So how do you work with that? Christianity Today, Time magazine does not really reflect that population base in America. And America is not monoethnic country. See, that rude awakening came to me 40 years ago. 40 years ago, I was at UC Berkeley, 1979. I'm sitting at this quad, doing my own thing. And there was this guy with camera, which these days nobody brings camera. 40 years ago, no iPhone, no phone had camera attached, no phone, no cellular phone, period. So when you see a professional guy with a zoom lens and going around taking pictures, where you are, and he was sitting next to me and taking shots. But it was kind of strange because he would take certain angle and then it wasn't natural for me for him to do that. So I asked him, hey, how come you're just taking certain shots at certain angle? Because obviously I was sitting there, but he would not take shot at me. He said, well, I'm an official photograph guy, photographer for UC Berkeley, and actually UC system, the booklet, or it's called manual. No, what do you call that? Annual brochure, not brochure. It's an annual book of UC Berkeley. So the incoming freshmen will receive, you'll be passed out. This is before internet, so it's very important. The UC Berkeley annual, magazine, not a magazine, but huge book, like this. And I received one when I became a freshman at Berkeley. And so these are, in those days, the paper print was really the bloodline of your promotion. It's not internet, pre-internet. So I said, oh yeah, but so why are you taking such angle? Guess what he said? Because the people up there, or talking about the leadership of UC Berkeley, said that there are too many Asians on campus. And so make sure that when you take a shot, that you'll be predominantly white people. Wow. Well, ever since then, I got in habit of picking up, for example, UCLA. I taught a Bible study there in 1986. So 1986, UCLA would jokingly be known as University of California of lots of Asians, LA, lots of Asians, because it was 60% Asian. The National University in LA, 60% Asian. So 1986, I walk onto campus because I had my Bible study there, what we call oikos, and then that eventually becomes a church. And so intimately, weekly, I'll visit, and so I'll go to admin office and I'll pick up their annual booklet. And then I flip through, because I know. And I flip through the entire book. I think the picture of Asians at the time, was less than 15%. So that also, the same kind of principle, so the professional guy will go to campus full of 60% Asian and select a shot that only takes white people. So that when that booklet goes out all over US, the guy from Wyoming, some Oklahoma or somewhere, go, oh, well, this is like my kind of school, Yeah, but who's paying for the school? 60% Asian tuition. Why are they doing that? Not because they're evil, because we all have sinful nature, because we are all a victim to racism. And I'm telling you again, if it was a Korean school in Korea, they would do the same. But Korea was not an immigrant country. It's not composed of immigrants. Right? They have 6,000-year history on Little Peninsula on their own. America is only 300 plus years, are composed of immigrants. So we proudly say we American, meaning everybody should be included. Well, but whether it is Christianity Today or Time Magazine, of course, were not fairly represented. And I guess part of me says, well, what can you do? That's just what it is. But part of me is so sad, because when I studied Asian American history 40 years ago, and that's what Asian American historians and, the movement people really, really want their voice to be heard. And I really think that Christians should do better. They should embrace. But of course, that's not the case. I think that they basically want their mode of thinking, mode of doing, and mode of being not changed. Matter of fact, I read an article on Christianity Today from a sister named Helen Lee. She's actually a writer for Christianity Today. And then she wrote and said that, please, when we do any kind of conference in America, can we make sure that the panel, the keynote speakers face will have more women and more ethnic group people, more women. See, even this conference, it's like they have one token woman, okay, from the Israel session, and 99% is white male. 99% white male. One black token person, I can't even tell if he's black or white because he's so mixed. But so Helen Lee of Christianity Today wrote, next time we're doing any national conference, can we match the demographic, ethnic breakdown of a population base, not dominated by all white, all male speakers? Well, when Billy Graham started, I'm sure he was envisioning something more like that. Well, I wouldn't know. He passed away. So maybe he didn't want it. But I want it. I want his legacy, right? And Christianity Today would represent us as a voice. Yeah, when my subscription is due for Christianity Today, I'm going to cancel again. And then I'm going to write an editorial, a letter saying that, well, when you're ready to change your policy and have at least intention of not just using Asian face as an advertisement for seminary. And if you're going to use that, then do a fair representation. If we are actually keeping 60% of American seminary in business, do some good business practice by represent us, because we do matter. And I think we have something to say to Christianity in America. Right? And actually, I got so excited and happy when Christianity Today editorial team and the chief editor spoke and stood up for impeachment of the president as a Christian. And I think I heard that the subscription just skyrocketed during that time. Because that's what they want to hear. Right? They want to hear a voice that represent Christians in America. And, well, we are here. And we represent close to 5% of American population, but much higher percent in the percentage of churches, much higher percent in Bible seminaries in America. I hope, that they will come. But for now, I'm really saddened by going through paid subscription of Christianity Today, and really not 1% was dedicated to what I do as Asian American in America, representing America, Christianity. Well, sad, but that's reality. I hope to see you on next book talk. Bye for now.